It's the women in basketball talk. Let's go. Shot calling, the shots falling. My crossover leaves the ops crawling. The fans are in awe cause my handles are awesome. If you don't think I'm ballin', then hand me the ball then. Her story will make history. Watch the long shot hit the three, guaranteed victory. You might wanna stick with me, headed for the goal. If you roll, set a pick for me. It's the women in basketball talk. Tune in, all facts, no cap. We could talk about stats. It's the women in basketball talk. Let's talk about it. Let's talk about it. Yeah.
Welcome back to a brand new episode of Let's Talk Women in Basketball podcast. I'm your host, Jennifer Porty, and today I am super excited because I get the opportunity to interview former WNBA player, three-time WNBA All-Star, Andrea Stinson. For those of you who don't know Andrea Stinson, she was one of the most dominant guards back in the 90s. She played for the Charlotte Steam. She's one of the WNBA's inaugural player. She played alongside Dawn Staley. And I am just ecstatic because I watched her growing up and now I get the opportunity to interview her. So I'm not even going to have you guys wait because she's dialing in now. So after this commercial break, we're going to bring her on so we can get this interview started.
Hi, I'm Andrea Stinson, three-time WNBA All-Star, and you're listening to Let's Talk Women in Basketball podcast.
Welcome back to Let's Talk Women in Basketball podcast. I'm your host, Jennifer Porty. Today, we are honored to speak with Andrea Stinson, a true legend in women's basketball. Andrea's journey is nothing short of inspirational. From her stellar career at NC State, where she set numerous records and was a two-time All-American, to her groundbreaking role as a founding member of the WNBA Charlotte Steam, Andrea left a memorable mark on women's basketball. She's a three-time WNBA All-Star, played professionally in Europe, and recently she achieved her personal goal by completing her bachelor's degree at age 56, proving that it's never too late to pursue your dreams. So without further ado, please welcome Andrea Stinson to Let's Talk Women in Basketball podcast. Hi, Andrea. How are you doing today?
I'm doing fine. How are you?
Good. Thanks for asking. Thank you so much for joining Let's Talk Women in Basketball podcast.
No problem. I've been looking forward to it all week.
Oh, thank you. Yesterday, you hosted a basketball camp for kids. What inspires you to organize this event, and what messages do you hope the kids take away from their time at your camp?
Well, the thing that inspires me to do basketball camps and clinics for young kids is because I know when I was growing up that a lot of older people helped me. And I know that it took time and it took patience to help me to grow and become the player that I became. So now I want the opportunity, and I have the opportunity to give back to the community and share some of my rituals, some of my things, some of the things that I learned from older people. I want to share back with the younger generation.
Nice. And what message do you hope the kids will take away from their time at your camp?
Well, I hope the message is that if you work hard, you work on your game, your craft, you work on your craft, you get better by working hard. You work on it, you get better every day that you get on the court, that you pick up a basketball. I just hope that they get better and better and become a player that loves the game as much as I do.
Nice. Let's go back to your earlier years. Can you tell us a little bit about your childhood and how you first fell in love with the game of basketball?
Well, my first love was softball. I played softball a lot, and that was my first love. Well, and then, one day something clicked and said, well, Andrea, if you want to go to college, you're probably going to have to play basketball because softball wasn't really a college sport at the time that I grew up. And as a child, you want to get that scholarship to go to college so mom will be proud of you and all those type of things. So I fell in love with the game of basketball. I started playing at the age of 6, and I just kind of fell in love with the creative way that you can get the ball in the basket. And that's what made me fall in love with basketball.
Wow. You met Coach K Yao at the age of 13. That must have been a pivotal moment in your life. Can you share what that experience was like?
Oh man, I tell you what, I did not believe. Well, my middle school coach said, she said, I know Coach Yao. I said, K Yao, you know K Yao. She's like, yes, and maybe one day you'll meet her. But I want to be able to present you to her to play at North Carolina State University. And you know me, I'm 13 years old. I'm thinking Coach Yao, K Yao. And so it was quite an experience meeting her, getting to know her throughout the recruiting process, because I tell you, everywhere I went, there was someone from NC State. If it wasn't Coach Al, it was one of the assistant coaches. They were right there cheering me on, right there backing me and just supporting me. And so, just being recruited by her and visiting with her the little times that I did, it was amazing for me.
Wow. And then 5 years after you met her, you had an incredible college career at NC State. What was some of your favorite memories at NC State?
Well, one of my favorite memories is with Coach Al. When I first got to NC State, Coach Al was like, "We got to change some things about your game and change some things about the way you move and the way you play, and you got to stretch, Andrea. You can't play basketball without stretching." I was not a stretcher in high school. I didn't stretch. I went on the court. I do a little bit of this and that, but I didn't stretch a lot. So one of the most memorable moments was her telling me, "Listen, you're gonna have to change your game." And I knew I had to change, but not the way she said it to me. It really touched me, and it really affected me. And that's what made me just buckle down and really concentrate on changing my game and taking it to another level.
You were a part of the inaugural season of the WNBA Charlotte Steam. What was it like being a part of the birth of women's basketball league in the U.S.?
Oh my God, it was so amazing. Um, we as women playing overseas, when we play overseas, we see each other once a week or something like that. We get together, we're talking about the WNBA. When is it coming? What are they doing? And so when it happened, finally happened, oh, it was amazing. The first class that they chose to be in the WNBA, we did amazing things. I mean, we did all kinds of promotions, all kind with cars, with clothes, we just did so many different things. And I'm like, I just, it's just so real. It's just real. Is it gonna happen? You just never know. Things happen, but WNBA happened, and we were ecstatic. I was ecstatic to be able to come home and play in front of my family and friends who hadn't seen me play for 6 years that I played in Europe, and nobody seen me play. So that was the most exciting part about me with the Charlotte team.
Yeah. And what do you think about the evolution of women's basketball now?
I am ecstatic. I cannot believe, I can believe it because I said that it would happen one day.
Wow.
And
Wow.
and I'm telling you, in the last 3-4 years, it's been happening. And I'm ecstatic. I watch and I look at everything. I read everything that's going on and try to keep up with everything. It's a lot to keep up with, but I try. I hadn't been to a game yet because most of the time I was at Bluefield University finishing my degree, so I wasn't really able to get to any games. But trust me, this summer I'll be heading to some games.
Nice. Can you share a challenging moment in your career and how did you overcome it?
A challenging moment. There was a challenging moment. My challenging moment in my career was at NC State. So when I got to NC State, I did not play my first year at NC State. I was redshirted, actually Proposition 48, which was only a 1 year, 2 year deal thing that happened with the NCAA. And what it was dealing with the SAT. So you had to make a certain amount on the SAT, or you couldn't play that year of college. And they took that year away from me.
Oh, wow.
So they took that year away from me. So I played at NC State. I played at NC State for 3 years. And that was the most trying part of my career, is having to sit and watch them play for a whole year and not be able to play. All I could do was go to class and get my grades my GPA to where they needed it to be because I didn't make enough on the SAT. And so, that was the most trying part of my career.
Wow. What advice would you give to a young athlete who's currently in that situation? They have a college that they really want to go to, and they play basketball. However, the grades are just not there. So, what advice would you give them who also struggling to meet the SAT scores or even the GPA to get into that college that they really want to go to?
Well, my advice to them is to, if they really want to go to that school, continue to have communication with that school. Go to junior college. Go to junior college. Get your grades right. Play. Get your stats up. Get your game better. Get your craft better. And then still have 2 years left. You can go to that school and finish and graduate from that school. It's a simple process. If you just all you got to do is hang in there. You got an opportunity to get better at a junior college, and then go play for the school that you really want to go play for. And today they love junior college transfers, so you'll be loved today. Back in the day when I was playing, people really didn't touch junior college because they only had 2 years. But now they want the experience of junior college players. So that would be the route that I would take. I would understand that, okay, I didn't do what I was supposed to do, or things happen, and life happens. You some things you can't control. Life happens, but okay, you got an opportunity. Go to junior college, play, get your stats up, get your craft right, get your grades right, and then move on. Life will continue on. Just move on.
Wow. You played both in the WNBA and in Europe. How would you compare the two experiences?
It's two different experiences. For me, it was two different experiences because I played in Europe 6 years before the WNBA even came around. So 6 years into a European career is like the greatest thing ever, because some people don't last that long. And then for me to go 8 more years into a European career, that was just amazing. But the WNBA, for me personally, playing at home in front of my friends and my family and everybody, it's a total different level than playing in Europe. In Europe, you're playing with your team, the fans come, you don't really know the fans. I knew all of my fans, it's family and friends. So it was a different story, and it was a different type of mentality to actually play the game at such a high level, because they're there watching. Your family's there watching.
Yeah. Looking back at your entire career, are there any particular moments or in-game moments that stand out as most memorable to you, whether it be WNBA, college, or European career?
Well, in college, I had a 50-point game.
Wow.
And that was a game that we were playing Providence College, and it was a non-conference game, but that was a game that just put me at another level, to speak. When I had a game, you have a game like that, you score 50 points. I mean, it's got to be something you're doing right, or something that you worked on before that, now you got it, and you just feeling it that night. I mean, something like that. And I don't remember the game. I just remember that I scored 50, but I don't remember how I did it, exactly how I did in games. And for me, I do a lot of different things during the game. I shoot, I do fast break. I did a lot of different things. So that is what put my game up to another level. When you score 50 points a game, okay, it's time to raise your game up to another level. And that's what I did. And that was the most memorable moment in my career.
Wow. What was it like playing alongside Dawn Staley?
Dawn Staley is an incredible player. She's an incredible person. She's an incredible friend. We're friends, and playing beside Dawn, I learned a whole lot. I learned a lot about being that wing player, being in the position where she can get the ball to me, and being there for her when she's ready to make that pass or to take her own shot. I got her back when she shoots. I'm back when she shoots. She's back when I shoot. So it It was an amazing experience playing with Dawn Staley because in college I played against her. So she played at Virginia while I was at NC State. So we always played against each other, but never defended each other.
Yeah.
And then when she came to Charlotte to play with me, I was like, oh God, I'm so glad I got a point guard now. I got a point guard. So we had so much fun. I mean, we laughed, we got mad, we got upset, we won. I mean, we went through a lot of emotions during that time of playing together.
Wow. Spirituality plays a significant role in your life. How has faith influenced your basketball journey, and what role does it play in your life today, both on or off the court?
I accepted Jesus Christ into my life when I was in my first year of college. And ever since then, I've had faith that he's always with me. Yeah. You know, I had a career that I never tore ACL. I never broke an ankle. I never was out really for any type of major injury. I never had any major surgery. I know God is good. And so having faith and depending on him, there's some things that didn't go the way I wanted to go, but that wasn't the way they were supposed to go. And I always rely on him. I always pray about it and have faith that he's gonna allow me to make the right decisions.
Yes. His hands were definitely on your life, because not too many people can say that they played without a major injury.
So right. God's hand exactly. He was definitely on my life, and he's still in my life, and I still rely on him. Look, he after 30 years, I was able to graduate from Bluefield University. Yeah. I mean, come on, you don't find too many people go back to school and finish after being out of school for 30 years.
Yes.
So I'm just blessed, huh? I'm blessed and highly favored, and I'll tell anybody, I thank God for my journey. And if I had an opportunity, I'd do it all over again.
Wow. Speaking of completing your bachelor's degree after a 33-year journey, what motivated you to go back to finish your degree? Because you already had a successful career.
I just felt like there was a weight on my back, on my shoulders that was just weighing me down because I did not finish my degree. And I preach to kids all the time. Hey, make sure you go to school. Make sure you finish your degree. Make sure you stay in school and da-da-da-da-da. And now I can actually say that I finished my degree. You know, just telling them is one thing, but when you do it and you're finished, now I can tell them, say, listen, it doesn't matter how long it takes you. Keep working on it and keep plugging at it. And I promise you, you'll have the greatest feeling when you finish your college diploma. When you finish, I was finished. I just walked across the stage and said, but God.
Yes.
And that's what it was. It was God that helped me through all that. Because I was afraid when I went back that I wouldn't be able to study. I wouldn't be able to remember everything. I wouldn't be able to study right. How do I take notes? It's been 33 years. I have no idea how to go back to school. But I went in and I made myself feel like one of the students. I wasn't a coach. I wasn't an adult. I was just one of the students. And so I kept it that way, and that's how I made it through.
Wow. What did you major in?
I majored in sports communication.
Nice.
Yes. Nice.
So will we look forward to seeing you analyzing on a basketball game?
I hope so. I hope so. Yes. I'm looking forward to it.
Wow. Yes. I can't wait. A couple of years ago, I had former WNBA player Tamika Dixon on the show, and I asked her who was the toughest player she had to guard. And I just want to show you what she had to say. So I'm gonna pull it up real quick.
Toughest player and my favorite player was Andrea Stinson. I thought that was my favorite.
Charlotte
she was tough. I think Stint, them leaving her off I think they just did a 30 top WNBA players or something like that a few years ago, and they didn't have her on that team, and I was like,
yeah, she was a beast.
Yeah,
She
it's
definitely should
crazy.
have been on there.
It's a couple
Yeah.
players that should have been on there, but yeah, I think she was a tough guard. She was tough, and I think if the WNBA had come a few years earlier, you probably could have seen a lot of that greatness.
Yeah.
She was kind of towards the end of her career. She still had a very good career, but just think if she was in her prime.
Yeah.
But yeah, she's definitely one that I completely respect.
Yeah. So I figure you'll get a kick out of that. And I have to ask you, who was the toughest player you had to guard when you were in the WNBA?
Well, I tell you what, Cheryl Swoops was the toughest player that I ever had to guard. Now,
Wow.
Cheryl, I appreciate Tamika, and Tamika was definitely a tough one too. But night in, night out, every time I faced Cheryl, Cheryl Swoops was the one for me. And I respect Cheryl. We talk a lot of junk on the court, but we're good friends off the court. So I had no problem with Cheryl. We competed, we gave the fans what they wanted, and we were friends off the court. And that's the only way to be. You
Yeah.
compete and then hang out. But yeah, Cheryl Swoops was definitely mine.
Wow.
Definitely. Now, don't get me wrong, Tamika, Cynthia Cooper, those type of players, yes, they hounded me. But Cheryl, man, I
Yeah.
tell you, she just gave it to me all the time. And I gave some back.
Yes, I remember. And so fans want to know what's next for Andrea Stinson.
Well, I am at the moment, I am into training younger kids. I'm definitely into that, doing camps and clinics and personal training. I really love teaching the game. I'm not saying I'm never going to coach. I'm not saying that, but right now I want to give this thing a try. I have a business called Stint 32 Traveling Training, and what I do is I can come to you. I'm the only one. I'm solo. I can bring my balls, my stuff, and I can come to you. You get the gym, you get the kids. I'll come to you, and we'll have a great training session. And I just want to share, some of the things that I learned over the years and some of the moves that I made, and just to share with the younger generation to keep the WNBA alive. And I don't discriminate. I do boys too, but I definitely concentrate on my girls because the WNBA needs to stay alive.
Yes. Wow. Well, thank you so much, Andrea, for joining Let's Talk Women in Basketball podcast. And I look forward to seeing what else God has in store for you.
Thank you. I appreciate it. And thank you so much. And I am happy to know that you're doing this show. I appreciate you and everything that you do. And for now, I'm gonna watch you, girl. I'm gonna be in touch. I'm gonna be typing. I'm gonna be sending you messages and all kind of stuff.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
That's it for Let's Talk Women in Basketball podcast. Be sure to like, follow, and subscribe on Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube at Let's Talk Women in Basketball podcast. Catch you next time.